Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh. Well, here we are. I am here in Dublin today, and I'm joined by two of Dublin's finest. We've got Shane Daniel Byrne and Emman Idama.
Yes. Me.
Thank you so much
Look
for
how progressive
joining us.
you are. You have a comedian of colour and an LGBT comedian. That's
But
very
which is
impressive.
which? That's a big question. That's a big question. Well, this is it. I just thought I'm sick of having two straight white guys with
Yeah,
me.
mix it up.
Well, let's start mixing it up.
I
That
don't get a
sounds-
woman though.
Yeah,
That's
don't
for
do
sure.
that.
No.
No.
No, this is the closest we'll come. No.
I shouldn't have said that so early. Now someone will clip that. Now I'll be gone.
We're pretty good. I think we do all right for a mix of guests, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
We try our best.
I'm excited. I'm a fan of your podcast.
I know. Well, I remember the first time I met you was in Kilkenny, and you
Yes.
said that to me, and I thought, who the fuck's this guy? Join the back of the queue, mate. And then I see next thing he's blowing up in Edinburgh. He's some big star. I'm like, oh my god, I should be nicer, Shane.
Nice to him. Like,
That is just spin. It certainly did not blow up in Edinburgh.
No, you were very nice to. I always remember you coming up and saying that, and I appreciate that, man. You guys are doing very good work yourselves these days.
In my own podcast land.
In this very body studio.
Yeah, we record. I feel weird because this is where we record our podcast called Young Hot Guys. Not me and Eman's podcast.
This is now young hot guys.
young guys.
Young, older
Old,
hotter guys.
old.
Still, look, nobody's young or hot anymore. It's gone out of fashion. But yeah, I feel weird because this is our studio and you're sitting in my seat.
I'm the boss. Is that?
Yeah,
He's
you,
taking over now.
do you? What's your role in the pod? Are you like the driving?
They do call me the alpha,
Right.
but I don't know how true that is. But yeah, I mean, I am.
You're the alpha.
Yeah.
I like that. He said, "Oh, listen, right, and they do call me like the alpha, but I just don't know how to." Okay, I am.
They
I
call
am
me
the alpha.
and
you're like,
I am
like,
the alpha.
It depends on the scenario though, because in some situations, like you can be maybe the alpha, and then other times you take a back seat. It's like, do you ever write with somebody, and sometimes you're the organised one, and then they're not, and then vice versa. You know, depending on who you're with.
No, I do not do no writing. I don't do no writing. I don't, because I'm dyslexic, so there's no need for me to do writing.
So how do you come up with jokes, hey man?
I just riff, genuinely, just riff on stage.
No, you don't.
No,
have...
genuinely, I just riff on stage constantly, and like that's how I get my jokes.
So do you have nothing? Like, do you have no notes?
I
or-
have no. So all I have is just like the titles, just the titles of ideas.
Uh-huh.
Like I show you. Okay, so I show you my joke book, right? Empty. Like just the first page just has titles.
And if you did write in, it'd be
empty.
fucking misspelled.
Yeah, badly spelled, badly. So yeah,
Has he texted you before?
don't do that. Don't do.
Just
Don't
sometimes.
do it.
Well, look, you talk about it yourself. Sometimes you get a text and you have to remember that the man is dyslexic and trying his best, because sometimes you're like, he hates my guts, and then you're like, oh no, he just said we're starting at 7, but actually you have to translate.
I hate
whatever.
you so much for doing that. I hate you so much for doing that.
It's a reality. I think it's important
You
to bring it out
really
into the
hate
open.
you so much. Oh, you're like, yeah. So I'm bad at texting. I'm very bad at dyslexic. Like it's just.
When did
very-
you find out you were dyslexic?
28.
28
Age of
years
28,
old?
Yeah, older.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what the fuck were you thinking was happening before then?
Very stupid. I was like, don't nod your head when I said that. I said that, and he was like,
I was
Yeah,
nodding my head
yeah.
supportively,
No,
allowing
no,
you
you were
space.
not.
That's what I was. I was like, yes. I was allowing you
He was
have
trying
your
to
feelings.
amplify your voice.
oh,
here.
really?
Yeah.
Really? Yes,
I was raising up your voice. Yeah, that's what I was trying
yeah,
to do.
that's what I found that I said. Yeah, and because weird, right? Because like, okay, so like, okay, when it comes to like a bunch of my friends knew, like everyone knew that I was dyslexic but me.
It's like
That
when
was the last
somebody
one to know.
gets diagnosed with ADHD now, and everyone else is like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what it was
yeah.
me.
It makes sense.
So like, everyone was like, "Eman, we know." Like, have you seen your text and your writing? I was like, "No, it's perfectly fine." They're like, "No, it's no." I was like, "Oh yeah." So that's what I found out.
Does everyone think they have ADHD now? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, because you hear about it in comedy all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a comedian thing, or does everyone in the world also think they have ADHD?
I think that everybody's addicted to their phone now.
Yeah.
But there was a study came out like last week or something, and they said that it's not actually more prevalent now. It's just that people are like the symptoms are more like well known or they're getting diagnoses or whatever. But I don't know. I think it's the phone thing mainly. I think there's no way that your attention span was not better before you had this thing that is just constantly vying for your attention and is so good at getting it. It's got to be the phone.
You think so?
Of course.
I think it's.
When's the last time you're trying reading a book now, right? This is I try my best to not look at my phone for an hour before I go to sleep at night. I hardly ever do it. But what I'll do is I'll try and read a book. But see if I've got the book on my phone charging in the bed, I'll read like a page, and I'm like, the phone's always just there calling you. And then the amount of times I'm sitting with a book in one hand and a phone in the other, and I'm fucking reading the phone for fucking half an hour, and I could have got through a chapter.
Yeah.
And it's not that, this hasn't been happening for that long. This phone thing, like, it's actually still really new. And we're all just like, went into it so like, yeah, I just look at this phone all day. It's not even that, like, it's quite recent. We are young men, but we are old enough to remember a life before.
100%.
But you have to think to remember.
Even when I had a BlackBerry, I don't think it was that bad.
BlackBerry.
I had a BlackBerry.
Did you save up for that?
I don't remember. What do you mean?
It feels like that's a BlackBerry's a big statement phone.
Is it?
The young people don't know what.
No, but there was a time when it was the BlackBerry or the iPhone. It was like that was the choice. That was kind of the Android before the Android, maybe. But it was like I had one of them, and even then, that was the first one you could proper go on the internet on your phone. But it still wasn't as addictive as the iPhone. I think ever since I've had an iPhone, my attention span, all that sort of shit's just went downhill.
Yeah, me too. There's this thing I saw last night called Brick, where you have to scan it if you want to use this app. And I was like, so if you want, you can't open Instagram unless you scan the little brick. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get that. And then I went, well, I want to be, so I can get out of bed in the morning. There's this, I don't know if you saw this Irish guy had this TikTok, and he's like about getting going. He's like, don't get on your phone in the morning. You won't get going. And he's like, just go. Don't look at the phone. You'll get going. Get up. Anyway, he says get going a million times. And I was like, I want to get going. I want to get going.
Like that.
About getting going. Yeah. But I want to do it. And then I was like, well, that's all well and good. I want the brick for the morning. But what about at night when the most delicious phone in the world is night phone. Yeah. And I want that. Like, I'm like, I don't want to give up that. Even though I do want to give up that.
You want to give up. But it's like going cold turkey because, like, see now, if you're sitting in bed trying to get to sleep at night without the phone, it's like that scene in Trainspotting where he's trying to get off heroin and like he's seeing the fucking baby crawling up the ceiling and stuff. You're like, it's just so hard. It's really like trying to wean yourself off a drug.
But what are we going to do? I keep thinking about every day. I spend time thinking I'm going to get off. I'm going to be like so productive. But I don't do it. Whoa. And I want a different reality, but I can't get myself to do it.
Well, I was in Cork the other day, and I went for lunch with Chris Kent, who'd done that thing where he went off his phone for a couple of months, and he's got a new show all about it. And he was saying he was so productive when he was off it. But I actually done it years ago. I got rid of my phone for a while, and what was weird was, well, the thing I found at the time was, you would still distract yourself. You would just do it in less efficient ways. So you just watch the telly or something rather than looking at the phone. But the phone is so addictive. It's like with greater power comes greater responsibility. So we need to be so disciplined now to override how good this is at distracting us that it's like almost impossible unless you've got something that can stop you, like that brick thing or whatever.
I'm going to get the brick, I think.
But then is it not be easy to like override? Because you know that way you put the time limit on the app,
I have
and then you just go fuck off.
I have time limits on TikTok and Instagram, and every single day I just press 15 more minutes. All day long I press 15.
I've never just accepted it and let it be not usable.
No, I use it whenever I want.
Really? Exactly.
I think it does stop me a little bit though. You kind of like, or if I should be doing something, like, all right, come on. When I get the little thing that tells me, no, that's enough time, I will a little bit, but I don't know. I do think it is a common sickness of our time, though. I think we're in a bad way.
Maybe the sickness of our time.
Yeah.
All we have to do is go and go get a safe. A safe in your house. So as we go to your house, you have your phone in the safe, you close it up, and then you just like, okay, I have no phone now for the rest of the night. And then you can just do your stuff. And then
you can get them.
Well,
we have they're like a lunchbox, and you put it's a combination or a timer. Oh, but then I think that if I get, first of all, I can't get that because that's for a child. I feel like for a child or a teenager.
But we're all children, basically.
Well, we're all in God's eyes. That's true. But like, I don't know. I just feel like I can't have that. It's too infantilizing. But also, then I'm like, what if I really need it?
Yeah,
what if I really need it?
When the fuck?
I don't know.
That's
strung out,
and especially because we always say like, for work. If you get an offer, a gig or something like that. But it's like you can wait an hour, a couple of hours going to go by, you're probably going to miss out the opportunity. And the amount of times that you even would is so small compared to how much time you fucking waste on it that I don't know. But yeah, it's how we get off it is the key. I think in the future they will have like warning labels on phones the way they do with cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I certainly think that people in 20, 30 years, if we're still surviving that long, will look at the way we use phones now and think it's like when people were putting leaded petrol in cars. and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? But
Or like smoking in the maternity hospital.
that's what I'm saying.
They're like, what were you doing? What were you doing?
What did they think? And it's like, well, we all knew it was bad, but it was done anyway because everybody done it, and that's the phones. You mentioned God's Eyes there, Shane.
Yes.
I know that your Edinburgh show that you done.
Yeah.
You were talking about coming out.
Yeah.
You're also talking about God and religion. Is that correct?
I mean, yeah, some of that is just because I said that that's what the show was going to be about, and then you lock yourself into that.
Right.
I know I can't help. I always put a bit of Jesus or something. This sounds not in a good way. I make fun of Jesus, and not in a way where I support him or anything. But I can't. I don't know. I can't help that. I'm addicted to that. There's always going to be something. Every time I sit down and write new jokes, I'm like, yeah, but what about that mass? I always put a bit of Jesus in. I don't know something. I just
Can't shake it for your childhood. Would you say?
Yeah, it's something. I wasn't even drilled into it as kids. It's omnipresent. Darrell Breen said a lot of Irish people are ethnically Catholic, and I think that's a good way of thinking about it sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know what your experience is, but so you did all the Catholic things, and every day in class you see there's a crucifix on the wall on the front and Virgin Mary at the back, so they're present. But I do enjoy the fun of it. It's very glamorous.
A lot of stories, a lot of good stories and stuff. I mean, I went to Catholic school in Glasgow, but I always feel that we got, particularly obviously like when we were growing up, I think I got a sort of diluted version of Catholicism. It wasn't so fire and brimstone compared to what it might even have still been like at the same time in Ireland. I feel like in Ireland it's a bit more intense with the Catholicism.
Well, we were the first ones to grow up my age. We grew up as everything was falling apart. So all the awful stuff and abuse and all that stuff was coming out one after another, and there was like big films about it. So everyone had a reckoning. When we were, what are the religions of the other boys in the podcast? I often wonder that when I listen.
Non-denominational.
Non-denominational.
In Scotland. So Protestant. But,
They're Protestants.
Well, I think Stu, I don't think it was, and Fife is a different thing, but Steve, so me and Steve are from the same place, but I went to the Catholic school and he went to the non-denominational school.
Protestant.
So it's Protestant basically, but it's like nobody's really, it's all to do with who you support in Glasgow. That's about it.
Is it Glasgow or Celtic Rangers?
The Catholic, so it's kind of more. It's more a cultural and maybe socio-political thing. I would say nowadays because nobody really believes in it anymore.
And people care a lot less about those things, really.
And I've often wondered this before, and I wonder what your experience of this is, right? Because see, when I was young and I was in school, we would go to mass all the time, but it felt like everybody kind of did in the sort of 90s. And now nobody did. And I was like, is it just because we got older and we were at the school that my parents did it, or is just culture changed that everybody's became more secular and nobody really bothers?
I remember we had to go more. We didn't go every week when we were kids. Sometimes my dad brought us just for a break from my mother. I think that was so she could be at home, or she had she'd breastfeeding or something.
That makes sense.
So like the way those trips your dad brings you, just like right, we'll go out somewhere, just so she can just probably sit on a chair.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us, so that's loads. So like I think sometimes a break, but I think we went if the communion was coming up, we'd go a little bit more. And across the road from my house, there was a convent, and they had a mass in there that you could go to if you wanted on a Sunday. And my brother discovered this like hack. He's like, if we just leave after communion, you're allowed, right? So he just decided that's when we'd leave.
But that's near the end anyway.
It's quite near the end. There's very little left.
Yeah.
But we used to leave then and just think thought we were so clever and so smart. We're like, yeah, but they'd all be delighted. That was like a mass in a convent, and a lot of like proper holy people, and they'd be delighted to see little kids come in by themselves from across the road. Like it was like the past. They were delighted. It was like the 60s.
Yeah.
They're like, how lovely. They'd be chuffed.
What was did you have a religion growing up, you man?
Yeah, we're Christian.
Uh-huh.
We're Christian, like strict Christian.
Right.
Like, like if you go to a church, right? Like in my household, it was like from 9 in the morning till 5 or 6 in the evening, every Sunday. So it was like a full shift. You're in there.
A full day.
It was a full day. It was just like you pray, you sing, you dance, you read the Bible, you dance, you pray.
Do you eat?
You eat. You get lunchtime, but like you're just like give God a break. Jesus must be like, I need a break. Like,
Mass shouldn't be so long you're legally entitled to a lunch break.
you're like, oh my goodness. Like, and literally, like every Sunday, can you imagine that? Every Sunday, so you get dressed and you go to church like from 9 o'clock to like 12, and then you have a break from like 12 to 1, and then from 1 to 5 or 6. And you're just praying and just reading the Bible, and you're like, I know.
And
the Bible,
was this here or was this?
Yeah, and in Nigeria.
Aye.
Yeah, and I like so.
Is it all Nigerian Irish communities that were at it?
I'll say like around.
Just let the flag
around
upside down.
60% off. Yeah, 60% off was like that, and it was active. It was like a full, like, trust me, it was stressful because you're like, I know every story in the Bible. I can tell you every from like Genesis like to Revelation. Just like I go, this happened. Yeah, I know that because I know it in and out.
Wow.
Because you just have to read it. You're like
Every day. Is your mum still proper holy?
Oh, my mom is mental holy.
Yeah.
Mental holy.
What does she think of your comedy career?
She thinks that it's the devil's.
Does she really?
Yeah. All of you are evil. Oh,
What about you?
No, sorry. So all of you are evil and white. Oh my God.
Evil and white. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
One usually
Super
comes
going
from
to hell.
the
You get me? You're like,
And if you look back through history, the white people, pretty evil stuff the white people did.
yeah.
The only
she's
reason you're
mental.
mobbing up to it is because we were doing it to use.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Like my mom is like so like, and so Bible, like you're a witch, the devil is here, all that type of stuff. She's in it. In it.
But you have a normal life as well. Like she
Me?
doesn't. Well, like but you have relationships and all. She doesn't mind.
No. She does.
So how does it work? Is she just constantly annoyed at you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like just Emman, she's evil. Your girlfriend, you're like, and like literally, right? Like, all I do is like, it's on the phone. I just have the phone on the table, and I just clean the
Go
house.
about your
I'm
business.
like, talk for an hour. She's done. Okay, bye. I go dipping.
That my grand's like that, right? Me and my sister often like have a wee like joke. We'll see how long. Like my gran will just constantly. She's just on transmit constantly. Never really ask us anything, but occasionally we'll ask us a question. But like we then just count how many seconds we can talk for before she starts bringing something else up. It's like, oh, and how did you get on in Ireland? And I'm like, it was really good. I was down in Cork. And did you see that thing the other day? That's every conversation my gran is just that.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you can, and when it's on the phone, like you say, you can just do that.
Yeah, like just have the phone there and just be like, okay, like it's gonna be like a 2 hours conversation that I don't care about. Don't care.
But they love it. I think it's so handy. If I visit my parents live around the corner from me, and I just think it's I don't have to do anything. I just go there. They'll give me tea or whatever, and she'll just tell me the same news that she's told everybody else, and and constantly triggered our little trigger on the way of like, wait, I'll just tell you this and I'll let you go. I'll just tell you this. And I tell you this now. I don't know if I must have been speaking to somebody else. And then you get I just think like life, I would love to be retired. That just seems great. Talking the news, the same stories all week. It seems great.
But here's my thing though, right? And this is what I've learned from my gran, right? She says all day, she's telling me stuff she's seen in the telly, right? She's doing fuck all. I'm out in the world doing shit, right?
You have news.
See,
you
when
could
I'm
have
old,
stuff.
I want to be like, right, I'm fucked. What you been up to? What you been shagging? All this. I would say to my grandkids, I'm not shagging, but I'd find out what they're doing and give them advice and shit like that, probably. But I think my grand's fear is that she is boring to us, so she has to constantly
just tell you so much stuff every day. Yeah.
But what she doesn't realise is that is the most boring thing you can do. You need to be, if you're interested in other people, then it's more interesting.
But you can be looking at your phone; they don't mind. You can just.
Well, my gran can't really see properly, so we just.
You get away with it. I like as well when you go over to parents. Like I'm a grown-up man, but I still can just take things. The kids are doing this on TikTok now where they ask their granny, they go to their granny's house and they go, can I have this? And she goes, sure, whatever it is. And they start taking like lamps or whatever. But I do like that. Like she's like, yeah, of course. And I do like it. I'm like, whatever's around, I can just, if I can go to their house, whatever's there is mine. Like, and that's a pen.
You have the rest of your pension.
A pen, whatever.
Mortgage.
Spare coins, whatever. I can just take that and they'll be happy to give you that.
Yeah.
Like, delighted with it. I love it. Yeah, it's so good. I do slag them over the thing that I'm like, whenever they buy something, I'm like, all right, go easy on that now.
Yeah.
That's because,
That's
they're
really
retired
right.
people. I'm like, oh, wait, that's our, don't be spending it all now. Well, that's my,
You know?
I'm saving that up. I have stuff to do with that money. Hold on.
100%. How did your parents think you were evil, Shane?
No. They came around. I think they were scared. They were scared when I quit my other job.
Right.
So
I was meaning for being gay enough for them comedy.
Oh, for being gay.
I knew that. I knew that. I didn't think it was different comedian. I was like, really? In Ireland? That must be progressive.
I mean, I don't want to know what your mum thinks. That's
Oh,
all,
my
guys.
mum, no. He is the devil incarnate.
Yeah. I didn't want to ask. Do you know how boring it is? Do you know how often I have to talk about being gay? But then I spent years not talking about it. So I'm like, now I think I'm just about evened out that I'm like, I spent as long out of the closet as I was in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though you're in the closet as a little kid, you kind of know, you have this idea. You're like, something different or whatever. I like that, whatever. Swimming.
When was the first,
No,
when's the
really
first
though.
point
I
you
used to,
thought?
you don't know what it is, but you know, right? So I used to like going to the swimming. I used to love it. I was like, this is great. I like
Pretty
swimming.
fucking gay.
Yeah, I know. But that alone is a big game. So I couldn't do the football and swimming. I was good at that. And then I was like, afterwards, we all go to a room and take out our butts. I was like, this is a great game. I was like, you know, it's not sexual, but I was like, yeah, I liked it.
that,
I liked the boundaries being widened. I liked it.
That's interesting. Whereas I remember, like, when I remember my dad taking me, like, football and stuff and being in a men's changing rooms and seeing everybody naked and being, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
In the same way. And you don't really know why either. You just go, this isn't for me.
That generation of men, our generation's gone different about the changing rooms. I felt like the dads were like in a hurry to get immediately nude, full nude. They were like rushing to get in. Come on, we're getting down to swimming, and they were like instantly. They were just naked, all dads naked, and talking to each other. And it was like we were just like, what the fuck?
Do you know Andrew Neil, the radio?
Yeah.
broadcaster. I've got that. The only thing I think about him is that he looks like a guy who would wander about a changing rooms too long naked.
Yeah, I see that. Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
I like it. I think people should ease up on that. I think people are like, all these old guys fucking, you know what I mean? And I'm like,
The guy that used to host
Let them.
Newsnight, I'm talking about, by the way, or whatever the fuck it was.
yeah, and
You know what I'm
he
talking
was,
about?
yeah, and
He
he
was a
went
Spectator
to
editor.
GB News.
I don't know if he did or not, but he's a right wing guy. Basically, he's a big fat Scottish guy. But he just looks like the type of guy you would see.
Yeah.
in changing rooms. you know what I mean?
He actually really does. I can totally see it for him. Yeah. What was I going to say about them?
Anyway, so
The
you're
changing
talking
room.
about
the guys in changing room.
The men in the changing room. I don't know. I think
And then
it's ease
you're
up on that.
and coming
Oh,
out
I
and
just
stuff.
like changing room chat. I was once in the gym changing room, and there was two lads talking, one older and one younger, and I deduced from their conversation that the older one was his football coach at some point. And I just really like how men talk to each other, because the younger one was like saying he doesn't really play the football anymore, doesn't really watch the football anymore, and he's like, I couldn't even tell you who's top of the Premiership at the moment. Couldn't even tell you. And then he paused and went, I mean, I know it's Leicester, but you know what I mean? And absolute brilliant logic. I loved it.
To be fair, that is a particular season where you would fucking know who's top of the Premier League, because
When that was happening.
Yeah,
Leicester being
that was
top
a
of the
big
Premier
deal.
was
That
a
was
big
a
deal.
proper big deal. It was like, how did?
Unbelievable.
I
Still.
try and keep abreast of some of the sports stuff. I try and learn. My family have a WhatsApp group that is just for football, so people who don't want to be there don't have to be in there. And every now and then I'll try and learn a bit of a fact and just drop it in at a birthday dinner or something like that.
Well,
Goes very well.
Chris McArthur Boyd, his go-to for that is he always just goes, Luka Modric, very technical player. That's the only thing he knows
that's
to
a
say.
good one.
And it is true, but that's the only thing he knows to say about football.
I like Chance went begging. I like that. I like all the football stuff. Chance went begging there. It's like, or he's a master of the dead ball.
That's a dying game, I would say, master of a dead
Do
ball.
you
You
know
don't
the best
get-
was
don't get
Luis
many.
Figo, Portuguese player. Retired now. Master of the dead ball. No, I don't know if Luis Figo was master of the dead ball, but throw it out.
He was more known for his open play, I would say, Figo. But,
Fuck, okay, right, I picked the wrong one.
Have you got a team, man?
Yeah. For me, I support Arsenal.
Arsenal?
Yeah.
How come?
Because of like my okay, so because my friend's dad and his friends were just like Arsenal, and then he said to me, "Emman, you like Arsenal?" And I was a
pretty much
kid.
how it
I was just like, I like Arsenal. And then that was it, just with no choice.
That's pretty much how it works.
You just absorb one.
Yeah,
Because
just
my,
absorb one.
my
Yeah.
dad's English team is Arsenal, and that's
Oh, really?
just why I like them.
Huh?
But, that's about it. Yeah.
What's Hibs? Who are they? 'Cause
They're like the Edinburgh Catholics.
the Edinburgh Catholic. Because that's Ireland. Hibernian is Ireland, means Ireland.
Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, because also Dundee United used to be called Dundee Hibernians, And then I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but I'm presuming it was because of some anti-Irish sentiment that they changed their name.
Fair enough. Yeah.
There you go. But,
I have a bit of anti-Irish sentiment myself, so I get that. I get that.
but anyway, so back to this. So your parents didn't hate you?
Oh no, they were fine. I tore the arse out of it. I spent years not telling my parents, and then I told everybody else. So then I kind of did it. But yeah,
So
it was fine.
you were out on stage and all this stuff? And they didn't
Oh
know?
no, not like that, not like that. But like my friends and all, I was like seeing boys and everything and doing all that stuff, but hadn't told them. I
That's
don't know.
like me and dyslexia. Everyone knew, but
Yeah, everyone kind of knows. and
Is
they
it a
kind
bit
of knew.
like though when you like before you get caught drinking and you're coming in drunk a lot and they're like they know but they've not addressed it?
It is a bit like that, like but that like when you're late 17, they're kind of rolled. They're like, well, look, there's nothing we can do now. You know what I mean? You know when they're like you're like 17 and a half. There's no point in them giving out anymore. It's
Yeah.
like he's drunk, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's happening now, right? Whatever. But I don't know. I think there's just everyone forgets. It's not like this. I hate when people say we knew, or when some famous person comes out and they're like, "How was that a shock?" I get annoyed over that because I'm like, "Oh well, when did you ever come out?" It's not this thing of like you have to tell. It's like intimate or something.
Yeah.
And you have this thing in the back of your head as well, especially with dads. Maybe I don't know why. Certainly for gay men, that you feel like saying part of you like, "This is who I am," and then like an American film, like,
Yeah.
"I'm gay and I can't help that," or whatever, and then you want him to say, "I love you," no matter what. But also, there's this thing of like, that means I like dicks on butts. You know what I mean? It's like you feel like you're telling everyone like, I like dicks and I put them in my
Yeah,
mouth.
it's like
I
telling
love
them your favourite
Do you know
position
what I
or
mean?
something.
Yeah, it's just like
yeah.
and maybe people's heads do go there.
Yeah.
I do that when someone tells me they're having a baby. I immediately picture the cum coming out of the dick.
Well, there's
I do
there's
every
no
time.
getting away
I'm
from it.
36, 37 nearly, and I still am that. I instantly, I'm like, whatever the couple, if it's the man tells me or the woman tells me, I'm
Yeah.
like, I picture the cum coming out of the dick.
Well, that's how it happens, and it's
I know
like,
that did with yeah.
And if you find out someone's pregnant, it was like, oh great, congratulations! So it's some miracle. You're like, they were fucking shagging.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah,
shagging.
yeah. Been
We're
riding.
getting down and dirty. That's what's
We're
happening.
Trying.
We're trying. You're fucking. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's it. But I don't know, man. It's and does it get like see now? Because obviously you got your own audience now, so it must be nice to come out and they already know who you are and you can just say whatever. But like, see when you're doing stand up and like have like, because I spoke to Larry Dean about this before, and like he would always find a new way to sort of slip in, like to kind of come out to a crowd. If they don't know
Yeah.
who, like they don't know him or whatever. Like, is it annoying having to?
It's a bit like, you know, Marge Simpson's dress where she keeps getting the pink Chanel suit and she keeps changing it. It's a bit like that. You find various ways at the top of a show to pretend you're not gay for a second or something. Whatever. But then sometimes you go places. I did a joke before and I'd say some joke about like, oh, my wife is here tonight. And that's the joke. Obviously, I'm gay. But sometimes they're just like, woo. It's like, oh no.
was that a good thing about, because you called your show The Twist, he's gay?
No, but he's gay, I called him.
Oh, was
But
it?
The twist, she's gorgeous, is Catherine Cohen.
Oh, I always get you confused.
No,
No,
I'll take that as a
but
compliment.
did that then mean with that title that you just didn't even?
No, kind of. It was like, but he's gay. I called it that. I think it's funny, but also it's like, it's almost like, look at all, the show was about the coming out show. You do your gay show, gay comedians, you do your first one as a gay one. You do your gay show about all your gay stuff. And so I did coming out stories and stuff in that. And then, but he's gay is kind of like, it was a joke on, you know that thing, remember that video from years ago? And it was like, it's a news presenter and she's like, and coming up next is like local news. And she's like, we have a story and he's joining us and he has climbed Mount Everest, but he's gay. And then she goes, he's gay. No, he's blind. Sorry, he's blind. He's blind. And I just think it's so funny. The mistake is so weird. Where did she get that from? But also, imagine the idea of that. But he's gay. I mean, that's incredible.
Right, guys, Mark here, just popping in to remind you that my new stand-up special, Mark Jennings, Crowd Mark, is out this Sunday, the 29th of June, as the second in our Summer Laugh series. This is a wee crowd work special that I shot while I was opening for Stephen Buchanan's stand-up special, which you can still find on the Summer Laugh YouTube channel as well. So it's a shorter thing. It's not like an hour-long thing. It's a shorter wee special, but it was chopped up from a couple of the shows we done for Steve's recording. It was really fun and some beautiful shots of the stand Glasgow where we filmed it as well. If you haven't already, please do check out Chris McArthur Boyd's Scary Times, which was released last Sunday and is going down a storm as it did on the night it was recorded live. So hopefully check that out. And obviously we've got upcoming specials from Liam Withnail, from Roscoe McClelland, and of course our very own Stuart McPherson as well. As ever, just before we get back to the to remind you that we are on Patreon for as little as just £3 a month. You can sign up and get access to an extra episode every 2 weeks. There's all bonus content from all the live shows, some behind the scenes footage, that type of thing there as well. Thank you to everybody who has signed up as patrons as well. As you know, it keeps us going, keeps us growing. And finally, if you would like to see us do stand-up comedy live, myself, Stuart and Steve will all be at this year's Edinburgh Festival in August. We're all doing Monkey Barrel comedy. The links will all be in the description, so we'll hopefully see you there. We've got some previews throughout the summer as well, including a couple of tickets still available for Gale and Grain in Glasgow's West End in Sandyford Place. That's on the 8th and 22nd of July. I believe there's still tickets left for both at time of recording, so maybe see you there. And aside from that, hopefully see you at the Edinburgh Festival. But that's all from me for now. So hopefully enjoy the special. See you over on the Patreon and maybe at the Fringe. And aside from that, enjoy the rest of the episode. Let's move on to this, man, because right. So we met in Kilkenny as well, didn't we?
Yeah, Kilkenny Fringe.
And honestly, I just remember sitting in the pub with you and having a conversation. I think we were talking about dating.
Dating, yeah, we're talking about dating.
And I think it must have been the subject of red flags or something.
Yeah.
And you were saying one of your red flags was what people eating seafood.
Seafood, yeah. If you eat seafood.
But you then went on to give me the most unexpected explanation for this that I've ever heard in my life.
It's because of mermaids. Okay?
Mermaids.
Mermaids. I think they are real. Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
I'm more comfortable
because some people believe in God.
Because a lot of people would see that as a red flag.
No. Okay, some people believe in God, in what's the stuff for the
star signs?
UFO, star signs, UFOs, aliens. I think they're real. Mermaids are real.
Right.
Okay. One is because I've seen proofs. Don't laugh. Listen.
Was not expecting that to be number one.
I've seen proofs.
Right, okay, go on.
Yeah, I've seen proofs.
Right.
And two,
Are you meaning mermaids, or is this a dyslexia and you mean some other word?
no. I mean mermaids.
Are you thinking of tuna? No, we all believe in tuna.
I believe.
I've seen proof.
Like like the fish body.
Yes.
In
Okay.
the water,
Yeah.
in the moon singing. Yeah, like little mermaids. I think they're real, and I don't like when anyone eats seafood, because I think like they're the cousins and like they're family members of mermaids.
Right.
And one day when like all the oceans, when the old world is now all done by the oceans, all the mermaids are gonna come for you, and I'll be the only one they don't come for because I didn't eat their cousins.
All right.
What's your proof of mermaids?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like two of you are just taking the piss.
No.
I feel like two of you are taking the piss.
Listen, it's not every day you meet a guy that believes in mermaids.
It's not any day you meet a guy that believes in mermaids.
Listen, yeah. Okay, proof is one. This. You see this? This is your.
Our hands?
No, they're
For the audio
Webbed.
listeners.
the webs.
Right.
We
came
used
from the
to-
ocean.
Boom. So he's on board now. You come on. He's on board.
I didn't go that far.
Okay, these are webs, just like mermaids, yeah. And
Okay.
two, so there are some people that can see underwater. You get me? So like they can see
Hold on.
underwater with their eyes.
Mermaids don't have webs. Like they just don't have feet.
No, they don't have feet, but like there is
They
like
might have
the
webbed
webbies.
fingers.
I know this because I've done the research.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, you have to do your research.
Sorry. I don't like.
We
the
were all
research acting.
radicalised in our own ways during COVID, but
Listen, you guys don't believe in mermaids because all you guys haven't seen one. Okay, I've seen one.
where?
Listen, I've seen one in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the ocean, like
Anywhere
no, it's not the
specific?
ocean, huh?
Any specific ocean?
Yeah.
No, not Pacific. Specific.
Oh, it's just a Pacific Ocean. It's like yeah, that's where they live. also, what's the name of this guy? Oh my goodness, the one that has the
Poseidon?
yes. What's the name of? Oh my god.
Aquaman.
No. Listen, don't laugh.
That's not documentary.
Listen, yeah,
I don't know if that was based
I saw
on
a
a true
fantastic
story.
I can
documentary.
show you
It's called
documentaries
Aquaman.
of mermaids. No. You guys are not done research.
Can I pick up on the thing about people can see underwater? Everyone can see underwater a bit.
No, like with your eyes open, fully open, see clearly underwater.
Some
This
people
guy
can.
was fucking looking
See?
under the water to see people's cocks. He's like, can't wait to go swimming.
I love it.
Wait, let me show you. So yeah,
I need better goggles. I need better goggles.
You get me? And also,
Seeing blurry images here. I want crisp HD bulges.
so yeah, basically, I think they are like the family. They're the cousins and the nieces and like the nephews of like all the mommies look like crabs.
Right.
Tell me, do you like crabs?
Eating them, yep.
See, now you are now eating like a family member of a mermaid.
Right.
Like clams, tuna, fish, they are all fucking related to a mermaid. And
Here's what I would say, right? Is that, like, you're really not that far away in the sense that human beings did come from the ocean, right?
thank you.
And really what you're saying is that it's wrong to eat fish, but the one thing you say is you think it's wrong to eat fish because they are the cousins of us. This middle thing of mermaids.
No, they are the cousins of mermaids. And one day when the mermaids come back to society, they are going to punish all of you, but me. I'll be the only one to be like,
Was
"So I
this
didn't
coming
eat
up
you."
in your fucking 6-hour masses in Nigeria? No
No.
wonder there was so long. I just didn't make you shut up.
There's worse things in there, that Bible, than believing in.
But no, okay. So genuinely, right? So I tell girls that I date, I always tell them, please do not eat any fish, any tuna, anything. Please do not eat it around me.
Right.
Don't eat it around me. One is because I do not want to. I do want to, like, I just don't want to see like murder, like being committed.
Right. How do you feel about other animals, cows and whatnot?
That's good. Free food.
They go for it.
They go
You've
for
never
it.
seen that, those sort of, what do they call them when it's like a cow's body and then a guy coming out of it?
I know you're talking about.
You know that?
A centaur? or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
You don't believe in them?
That's fine. They're
A
not
fawn? Where do you stand on fawns? Half
not
deer.
real. Yeah.
They're not real.
Also, I don't eat days. See?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, all I eat is just like chickens and cows and ducks.
You eat pork?
Pork? Yes, I do. Yeah.
Because they're very clever, the pigs. I do feel a bit bad.
Really?
They're
They're
clever.
really... But
But they're
yeah,
smart.
all of it. I mean, I don't feel like I don't have an expanded enough palate to be a vegetarian, but I think I might like to be. I do feel bad about it. They're clever and they know what... They're like a small child. Yeah.
I'm still waiting on this proof about the mermaids.
Okay, I'll tell you
He's
one proof.
provided proof.
I'll show
He
you
saw
proof.
them in an ocean.
I saw them in an ocean. Also, I saw documentaries of mermaids existing.
Right.
Yeah, and also one time I was on a beach and I saw what's it called? What's it called?
Tail.
Yeah, like a tail and like a waist that just there, and that was gone.
See, when
What
you
happened there?
told this girl on the date this, what did she say?
I did not tell her. I got my food. I'm eating my food. Her food came, seafood, and like there she was eating it, and then I just stopped eating my food, and I was like, "Yeah, this is not going any further."
So you didn't explain to her why?
No. I just said to her, "Nice meeting you." I gave her a kiss, and I
Well,
gave her a
that
kiss
was-
on the cheek, and I let her off.
Cheek.
Little does
And
she
then I
know.
blocked her.
Little does she know that she got off lightly.
Yeah,
A lucky escape for that woman.
yeah, because I didn't dare. Right, that is very mean. You get me? It's very mean. Like fish, like this, like a nice little fish, a crab.
I did eat. I thought I was
I mean,
getting
I'm not disagreeing with you, but that doesn't mean that mermaids exist.
They do exist.
Yeah.
I'll send you proof. I'll send you proof
Okay,
too.
cool. We'll put it in the show notes.
I'm excited to see whatever weird shit it's going to send us. I did have squid the other day that was like octopus. I thought I was getting like a calamari, but it was proper with the suckers and everything.
Yeah.
And that was quite gross. I struggled.
I had what do you call oysters once when I was in Australia,
They smell horrible.
and it's minging.
What's the vibe of
It's
oysters?
kind of it does. It's kind of like cum. It seems like cum texture wise.
Don't look at me. But like,
I thought you had the most experience.
yeah, it's like cum. You know what I'm saying, right? Cum. You cum guzzling little fag. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't really. Like,
Sounds like your mum.
is oysters about how it's dressed? Is that what it tastes? Is that what the taste? I've had oysters only once.
I tell
Is
you
it
this,
about
though,
what you put on it, the Tabasco and all that stuff?
Well, I don't know because I only had it once in a restaurant in Australia, but then I was
We
really,
get it. You've been to Australia, okay?
But I was also in that same trip. I was really drunk, and then they had oysters, but they were in batter, which obviously as a Scottish person I did enjoy. But I had fucking loads of them, and it was great. And so I guess it depends on the texture.
I think the Scottish chipper is the best. Do you
Aye.
say chippy? Do you say
You
chipper?
say chippy, chipper.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. To be honest, I don't like the word or a chipper.
All right, well
That's
then you
very-
can fuck off home then. Welcome to Dublin. I was in a chipper in Mermaids in Dublin, and there was a Scottish woman in there, and she was like, "What are you getting?" I'm not going to do the accent. She was like, "What are you getting?" And I said, "Oh, I'm getting such and such." And she was like, "I'll try that." And I told her that I think Scottish chippers. I was like, I go to Edinburgh every year, and I think the Scottish chippies are the nicest in the world. And she was really warmed her heart. She was like, thank you so much for saying that. I thought that was really sweet.
Where
she
was
was
she
really
from?
touched.
Because this is an interesting thing. Because in Edinburgh, famously, in Glasgow it's salt and vinegar you put in
Yeah.
the chips.
Yeah.
In Edinburgh, they call it salt and sauce. So it's like a vinegary brown sauce kind of thing they put on it. It's fucking disgusting if you ask me. But that's the big. So it depends. If you're
I
in a
loved it in
chippy
Edinburgh. One time
did you
there
get
was,
that sauce? Do you think?
I don't know. I salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar, yeah.
A friend of mine heard an old guy in the chipper, and they said salt and vinegar, and he said, "Yes, love, a little dose." Which I just think is
A lethal dose.
a little dose.
I mean,
That is creepy.
He's right. That's how much you
little
want.
dose.
does exist.
Really?
But no, I think
Yeah,
it
it's
was superior in Scotland. I know probably
We do that.
whatever Brighton or whatever in England try to have their little whatever.
No,
But no, it is delicious.
fried food.
Fresh
You
or something. Feels fresh.
And maybe the fish is fresh. Sorry, but
The batter doesn't taste like crumbly up oil. It tastes
yeah,
delicious.
well, I think we know if we know how to do anything, it's how we batter shit in
Yeah, yeah.
Scotland. Both,
We know.
both food and just in fights and stuff, I suppose. But the do you know? Do you have this right? Because this is a thing that always annoys me when I go to England. Like when you go to an Indian, we've got pakora.
Yeah.
Do you have pakora here?
Yeah.
I don't think they've got it in England, really.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know.
Is it you manage without a pakora though? No.
You can manage, but it would be nice if it's
Yeah.
there, but they don't have it. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes you just go, you think something's universal.
They see themselves as very curry superior. Also.
They don't know what they're on about. Chicken tikka masala was invented in Glasgow.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's England's national dish or something, isn't it? Now
Is it?
I think so.
Well, it was
something like that.
invented in the Sheesh Mahal round for the stand in Glasgow. And it was invented there.
Is Glasgow like here? Is it what's the similar vibes?
How do you mean?
Like I feel like my guess is that I've only been to Edinburgh, and my guess in Edinburgh is that it's kind of like it's city-ish and kind of international and a bit
It's
posh.
a very touristy town, Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like Glasgow is there's more realness, and I feel like they're like here.
I find going to Ireland for gigs is more of a home game.
Yeah.
Because people are we're all quite similar, I think. Whereas like England, it can be more, I think, and obviously in Edinburgh it's touristy. I think Dublin, I don't know enough about it because I've not been here enough, but it seems like there's obviously quite a lot of tourists here still as well.
Yeah.
But you've got enough of a local sort of identity. I don't think Edinburgh's really got that as much. It does a bit, but certainly not like when you go to comedy clubs, it's like 95%.
There's
tourists.
tourists
In
yeah,
Edinburgh,
yeah,
I can't
it is.
imagine Edinburgh without the Fringe. I've only been there for that.
It's
I
quite.
can't imagine it.
It can seem quite quiet a lot in town, but then like Leith and stuff is like pop. Like it's really
Yeah,
good
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and there's a good vibe and scene and all that there. But Edinburgh itself is just, it's just very touristy and all that around that kind of.
I like
in the
that
centre.
cute little spot. Is it Stockport? Stockbridge?
Stockbridge,
yeah.
very
So
very
cute.
posh, but
Is it
nice.
posh there?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love, but it's so cute. It's like a little village.
It's like a wee village, but within
Yeah.
the town. Well, that's why it's so posh and expensive.
Okay,
It's
right,
cool.
yeah.
Do you know what I love about Ireland, right? Walking about today, I think it's such a petty thing in a way, but in such a great way, is that, so obviously at some point, like obviously when it was still Britain, you've got all the post boxes for back in the day,
Oh yeah.
but they've just been painted green,
Yeah.
which is such a fucking hilarious thing. You still see even like fucking like ER for fucking Edward Rains or whatever,
yeah.
but it's just green, and it's like, fuck you, we're not going to get a new post box, we're just going to paint it green.
Painted green. But that was a big deal when they did that. Like that's part of the whole mythology of the whole thing of like taking back the nation or whatever. They just were like painted the post boxes. It was like fuck that.
It's
I mean,
so
they
good.
kind of kept everything else, whatever England set up. They just kept all of it, the structure of the government and all that shit. whatever, to society itself. But stuff like that, those were, they felt real rebellious. They were delighted with themselves doing that.
It's good.
But also, I can imagine the postbox quite expensive, those old ones. So, like, why not?
And they are nice to look at. And
You do see them. There's VR, Victoria and Edward. Is that the one?
Yeah, you do. You see the older ones even in Scotland and that. Like, there's ones that are for fucking way back in the day, and you're like, oh, fucking, that's a really old one. Now I guess it'll be fucking Charles again, CR or whatever on the.
There's a Victoria statue that used to be out where the government buildings are now, and that used to hang around there, and then they got rid of that. And then there was a while where there was like a room somewhere that the Dublin Corporation, like City Council, owned this room somewhere with a lot of Victorias in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they just had these statues. Yeah, it's really weird. But it's gone to Melbourne now, I think.
What's the deal with the housing in Dublin? Because obviously it's like famously pure expensive as fuck to live here.
Yeah, it's tough to rent.
And like, is that down? Because in my head I thought it was down to like Google and all that being based in Ireland. All these companies getting tax breaks being based there, and then so these people that work for them that have all got money coming in and raising the prices. But then someone else told me that it was just down to like a lack of like high rise flats, and there's not enough.
They haven't built enough houses.
Yeah.
That's what everyone keeps saying. Build more houses. They have record homeless every year. Every month they're like a new low, even though it's the same people in the government for 10 years. They just won't build houses. That's just not people's. They just aren't interested in that.
Yeah.
I think there should be this thing of like, they say on the radio then as well, they're like, if you bring in these rent controls and all this stuff, it'll drive people out of the market. I'm like, well, get the fuck out of the market then. Sell the house, have a nice family living in it or whatever. I think you shouldn't be allowed. You're a socialist man, aren't you?
Sure.
I think no one should be allowed shouldn't make a profit from a house. You can't make money off it. I'm just like, no, it should just not be allowed.
And the argument for that as well is that then you can't have the opposite, which is the negative equity thing where you can lose money in a house. So if you can't make or lose money, then in a way it's probably better.
Yeah, everyone who's like 10 years older than me, they all had that negative equity mess.
Yeah. And then obviously everything fucking skyrocketed again, I suppose, in terms of property prices.
We live in great times. Truly, these are remarkable times.
It's nuts, man. But because obviously it's the same in like Glasgow and everywhere else, but I think Dublin seems like the most
it's
pronounced.
Pressure cooker, awful, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I talked about a pressure cooker because I was in Cork the other day and they had that big fucking, there was a pro-Palestine thing, but then there was one of these, it was a right-wing thing. It was like, make Ireland great again or whatever. Everybody was wearing these T-shirts. And at one point I heard them saying, actually, they were like, oh, we need to get back to mass. And I'm like, I thought you were trying to protect kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you doing? But it was weird. What was weird to me coming for the UK was to see racists with Ireland flags. Because usually if you got an Ireland flag in the UK, you're like, he's one of the good guys.
It's a real thing at the moment. They're carrying the flag now. They're all like, Ireland is full. This is their thing.
Yeah.
And actually, most of it, there's all these tweets and everything, but actually, most of them are actually from America. That's where those tweets are generating from. And they're doing this new thing now where
there's an American flag amongst all the island ones.
Yeah, there's a guy who has a Trump flag goes around Dublin.
Yeah.
There's a guy, one guy. But like, they have these things now where they write. I don't know whether it's AI or people, but they're pretending to be young Irish people, and they say things like, I took the darn vaccine. And like, not a single person in this country's ever said darn.
Is that Glorious Bastards thing, into it, where he does the...
Do you know, people... I've seen that. I've never seen that film, but I have seen that meme come up.
Somebody done this to me in Germany, actually, right? Because it was me, Steve Stu, and we were in Cologne, and I went up to order, and it says 3 schooners, and the guy went at me, like that, and held his 2 fingers and a thumb. And at first I was like, where have I seen that before? And then it's the scene in Inglourious Basterds is a guy who's like pretending to be a Nazi or whatever, and then he does that and puts his 3 fingers up, and that's when the guy notices that he's not German, because in Germany they do 3 with the thumb. So that's what it's. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is a bit of that.
So it's the darn vaccine or something. It's
the darn vaccine.
It's everyone. Anytime somebody's like, pretending to be like for the UK and they're American or vice versa, or whatever, and they do that, like that's what they always use that meme for that thing.
I don't think this stuff is going away, do you? I think it's like...
I think it is.
This is like, we have to deal with this for quite a while.
I think personally, right, it's because politicians don't give anyone any answers as to why everything's fucked. Everything's fucked, right? And all the, like, unless they are like kind of socialist left-wing people that are telling you it's because of, how much, like, the rich having all the wealth and all the rest of it. The only answer people are getting is, well, it's these immigrants.
Yeah.
So, and they're going, well, because UK, like Keir Starmer saying, well, we will give you this wee tiny thing, or this. It's like just like the wee middle
But
managers.
Keir Starmer now just says all the things
He's
that
just-
Tory
and
government
he's
would
just-
say, and
trying to-
they all are pandering to these people. It's starting to happen
Yeah.
here now as well, where they pander to them. So then I forget what he's minister for, maybe justice. But anyway, he the other day was like, we bragging about deporting people,
Absolutely.
and we sent this plane, which apparently cost like $350,000 or euro to send the people away, and it's like. It's never. You should never be bragging. 5 of them were little kids as well. And they were taken out of their school overnight. And the schools were all really upset and had to do work for the kids who were left behind. But it should never be a thing we brag about.
No.
Deportation. It's not something like, oh, great. It's like, it's never going to be a pleasant. Even if people legitimately follow the rules or whatever. Here's the rules, here's the law. It's still an awful bit that people get sent on planes somewhere else.
Absolutely. And it just shows you how like unwilling they are to even contemplate maybe doing something vaguely left wing could help society. That it's like that socialism or barbarism thing. They'd rather have these fucking fascists than dare to go an inch to the left. And they vilified like people like Corbyn and all the rest. Andy who tries to dent left wing and help people, socialist, communist, whatever the fuck. And then but then because they're giving people nothing to vote for, they're just letting these racists come in. And it was like in America, it's like it happened already. Like they didn't let Bernie Sanders run because they didn't want to risk losing to Trump, and then they get Trump. But they would rather Trump than Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders threatens power and finance and money and all that shit. Trump doesn't he? They can work with him, and it's the same with these fucking all these mad racist cunts. Because what are they really? See, Farage gets in the UK, right? What's he really going to do, right? He'll do all this stuff and probably not even be able to enact half the stuff he's saying he's going to do in terms of deporting immigrants and all that. But what they'll really do, and this is what Brexit done as well, is it's just going to let all these cunts in the city of London and all the people with money who are backing them, by the way, to do whatever the fuck they want and get even more and fuck us over even more. Do you think that Nigel Farage getting elected is going to mean that people like us are going to be able to afford houses? Of course not.
No.
It's the exact opposite. But because the other people aren't giving anyone, they're not providing a solution. People are just like, well, fuck it, I might as well, like, because they're appealing to people's cultural grievances. Because because nobody's got any difference in terms of economic stuff. So it's all to do with culture, really, and then it goes on both sides. And because I often think like the thing about the right wing love the culture war stuff.
You're so excited about this conversation.
I love it.
I love it. I love it.
Going on a mad rant.
No, I love when you do.
The right wing love the culture war stuff because it wedges people. It splits people apart. But the thing that the liberals, like the sort of centrist liberal people, get out of it is it gives them something to stand for. Because they don't give a fuck about the working class anymore. So, but they can at least pretend to care about LGBT community and this and that and the other, because it gives, if it's an identity thing, again, that doesn't threaten corporate capital interests because it's not talking about helping working class people afford a house or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So
and the culture war stuff they do now, they enjoy that for the distraction, but they'll pick on it's trans people for some reason who've been chosen. You're the ones. That's because even though everything's a bit upside down at the moment, they can't do it for black people anymore. They won't get away with saying these blacks and these they can't get away with that. So they're like, these fucking trans, right? That'll do. That'll do. They'll just pick whoever.
Yeah. Or they just say woke now to mean just everything. That isn't like you being a cunt. Do you know what I mean?
It's like you can't do anything. You can't. They're like, oh, all these people on Twitter saying this, that, and the other about Palestine, and then they're like, do something then, and then Greta and the gang do the boat, and then they're like, this is fucking performative. It's like it can't all be performative.
I know.
It cannot. That's something.
Yeah, and I think the cynical thing that they're like as well. Anyone trying to do anything good, must be like it must be for themselves.
Yeah.
But then you're like, well, then, so where do we go for there? Everybody's just out.
Too bad. What do you want us to do?
Exactly.
I'm sure there's that you could go out for ages. Is there altruism? Is there doing things for somebody else? Yeah, but so what?
I know.
It's like even if it is like, you know, I one time said controversially on our podcast that like no one loves their children, they love themselves, and the children are
That's
something like this.
interesting.
I don't know. I'm sure someone's
extension of
spoken about it.
themselves?
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone's spoken about it more eloquently than that.
Aye, some country wrote a book about this.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably a few books, and I probably wouldn't like them if I read them. Yeah, I'm sure there's something like that. But it's like there is. So what? Even if that is true, so what?
Yeah.
Isn't it nice that your parents are nice to you? Pretty good.
it's fine.
Like looked after me. That
And
was
that's
pretty
what
decent.
we're biologically wired to, like, you know, love our fucking
Yeah,
relatives and all
yeah.
this sort of stuff. Of course you're going to do that. So, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be going to a good place, is all I would say.
No, we've just sit with this now for a few more years. It's so annoying.
I know, but you'd hope there's got to be some sort of alternative, because, like, we can't, like, because even these people who are, like, not the pure far right people, they must at some point need to go, right, we're going to need to try and do something to make people's lives better so they don't fucking just go in that
Yeah,
direction.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
No, so in my head, so this was happening. Like in society, is going up to like the right wing so much that it gets to a stage that he has to go back
yeah.
to like the middle, and you have to find a way to for us to get like a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, like for me, like so many comments I'm getting, I'm just like I don't care.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, go back to your country. I was like, I left there. I left it at the age of like 6 or 7. Like,
Aye.
go back to Nigeria.
And have you noticed it now, even like maybe even on stage and stuff? Have you noticed
No,
a shift in
No.
people's, it's only online? Or
Yeah. I'm just on like TikTok is the worst. On
Right.
TikTok is a place that like stuff will be said, and like in my head I'm like, how is that allowed being said?
Aye.
Like, are you black bananas emoji? I'm just like, it's okay. I like bananas. I like
And isn't that
proteins.
true for like everyone black and Irish now? This is their reality.
Yeah. It's just like constantly. And if you say no, so if I take my phone, right, and if I take my phone and I say, oh my god, oh my god, and it's so warm today, and in Ireland, comment, go back to your fucking country. You'll be like,
Jesus Christ.
can I just have like an opinion on like the country, on Ireland? Like, oh my god, I need so much water today. Why the hell is Ireland so dirty today? Go back to you're like, okay, so don't say anything black, like do with like Ireland. Just don't mention anything like do with Ireland, and then like you're fine.
Right.
But like if you say anything, you're just getting left, right, and center. Like you're just like, man, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up. Who cares?
I know, but people like, cause I think people must just get so defensive because basically everybody's getting fucked over now, and again they're not getting any explanations. So then this mad's like fucking sentiment and thing that's always maybe just under the surface.
Yeah, now it's not coming out. One is because like some people don't have like the right people to blame. So then it's the foreigners. It's like, oh my god, I'm poor. Let's blame the foreigners. Oh my god, I can't do this. Let's blame the foreigners.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, and I get it, but like try and just sit down and think for a minute. Okay, one right. I can buy a house. Why? It's because of there's no houses like to be bought. We're like, no, it's the foreigners.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
I know.
But they believe that stuff. That's what I find annoying. They do believe
Let
in
me
a
show you
different
something
thing
that I
that's
saw
not
that
true.
I laughed at. Okay.
They do think
Just
that the
because-
Ukrainians come and then they're given the key to a house and a
Yeah.
laptop
I
in
know.
Dublin Airport. People do think that's real.
And it's so
No one. This post-truth isn't that. Anyway, this
But
is
it's
this is a very
so
serious podcast.
I know, it's so self-defeating
know.
because I remember like hearing it a lot, like to the back end of when Labour were last in under Blair and all that, and people were so convinced that like, you know, even like single mums getting free houses and this and that,
yeah.
because there's any sort of social safety net, and then you're like, and then people are annoyed about that, and you're like, no, the people like when you think about like how much has been stolen by these big companies, no paying any tax, all this money getting siphoned off to the wealthy, and yet you're worried about like we're all like, you know, fighting over fucking loose change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're worried that a single mother
Mom
from
and a child, he's in a house.
that she
Let
might
him
get a
sleep-
buggy.
Hey, let him sleep on the
Give her a
streets.
buggy.
Exactly. And we should all, but that's the fucking least we should be doing. And yes, you should be sorted as well. But
Yeah.
we want everybody to be able to fucking live a normal life.
I think right that everyone in society like just needs to think and like just look into themselves and be like, okay, what can I do, like just to change like your life a bit, just change your, and then and then say to yourself, okay, let's work harder, help this person, just help for me, right? Okay, this is what I don't get, right? Okay, like this is what I don't get with like the racist and the whatever, right? How the hell can you be racist and still have a fucking football team you support? That is the most craziest. To me, that's crazy because you're like, oh, that's for Manchester United. They're like, yeah, you're like, how? Like, how does that balance each other? You're like,
I know.
I don't know.
I know, it's crazy, man. And then even just like, like artists you like, all that
Yeah,
sort of stuff. But
the artists you like, and you're like, oh,
it doesn't
I'm
seem
racist,
to-
but I like 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
wait, what? You're like, sorry, wait, what?
I know.
I don't know.
But in this day and age, I tell you what, I think that if there's any hope for us, really, we need the fucking mermaids.
I feel like we do. I feel like we should stop eating fish.
They need to
okay?
get out of the fucking sea and come and help
Listen,
us.
I tell girls, please, if you're dating me, do not eat fish around me. And if like you're gonna eat fish, please can you just eat the fish at least 2 or 5 days before you see me. Just make sure
Fish on a Friday. That's the Catholic way.
like
Yeah.
so Friday, and then like don't see me to the next few
You could
days.
see them on Wednesdays. Okay,
See?
yeah, just at the beginning. But what have the mermaids done for us lately?
Nothing.
They need to step up, and they can't even. That's their problem.
I think we need to round up and deport these bloody mermaids, if you're honest with me.
There's mermaids filling our waters.
Shane, I'm letting you know, right? If they come, when they come back, Shane, oh my God, I would love to see what they do to you.
I'm ready.
They're
I'm ready.
going
for
to
them.
tie you upside down, and they're going to fucking, oh my God, you see. Keep
I'll
talking.
just walk off. I'll walk away.
Big talk.
They won't be able to walk.
They're going to cover the whole world in ocean. Like
Oh
this.
shit! Okay,
There
right.
you go.
Oh, well,
See?
damn.
So we're all going to be water.
I don't mind if there's an apocalypse. I don't want to die, but if we all have to go together,
Well, he'll love it because
I'll
it'll just be
okay
like a
with
big
that.
swimming baths.
Dick soup on a global level.
That's, I mean,
Big soup.
we're not following that. We're not following that. Big swimming baths.
Hey, listen.
Right, listen, before we go, if you've got into plug, Shane, you're back in Edinburgh this August? is
Back
that
in
right?
Edinburgh in August. I can't believe that's true, but yeah, it's true.
There we go. What's
Brand
your
new show, right?
The show is called Who's a Big Boy,
Lovely.
and it's in the underbelly
And the
on the
spoiler,
doorstep.
right?
Yeah.
It's Shane. That's who's a big
Yeah, the big boy's me. Yeah.
And the podcast as well. Do you want to give that
Young
plug?
hot guys.
Yes.
Me, Tony Campbell, and Killian Sunderman every week.
Brilliant, lovely stuff. Ah, mate, the thing I forgot to ask you is because you went on Tommy Tiernan.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Absolutely mental. So, do you know the show over there?
I have seen how the Roy Keane and all this stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
so it's a show where you go out. Tommy Tiernan doesn't know who the guest
there any
gonna
audience?
Be. No.
Right.
Oh.
So he doesn't know who the guest is
It's
going to
like
be.
it looks like Parkinson, but there's no audience.
Yeah, and there used to be, but I think he's whittled them down.
Right.
And you go out then, and then you feel actually grand about it. A lot of people do watch it, so a little bit nervous for that. But then you feel grand because you're like, oh well, we can't plan. But then as soon as you sit down, you go, oh my God, if he's gonna, you think he'll lead the conversation, and he does. But then if you don't say things, bring things up, we'll only talk about what he wants to talk about.
Yeah.
So then you really panicked about the thing. You'd be absolutely sweating. We were wrecked after it, and he also was a mad bastard, and he'd be asking you mad things, and like he's like, "What do you think of Ireland?" And you're like, "Jesus, what do you fucking?" I was like, "What do I think of Ireland?"
Well, you gave a pretty good answer today. Sorry, I've just done the exact same thing as Tommy Tiernan.
yeah.
What were they, postboxes?
Oh no, but you would be absolutely sweating. We were wrecked after it,
Yeah, I
like
bet.
absolutely wrecked because you're so panicked the whole time. I'm trying to share it with you. There's three of us are
Yeah.
trying to share it out with each other, make sure everyone's getting enough time to talk and all that stuff. Because comedians sometimes do, like the panel show culture where it's like every man for himself.
Yeah.
I said before, I was like, let's not do that. We're not doing that thing to each other. We're a team,
Yeah.
and that's what we're doing. And I think I wish there was more of that in the comedy, but there's not.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think podcasts are good for that now, and I think
Yeah.
today's been a great
Yeah.
example of that, guys.
That helps.
E-Man, what you got to plug?
Myself.
Yeah.
Plug myself.
You get your club,
I have the club. It's going strength to strength. So
In
that's
Stitches
fucking-
Comedy.
In Stitches Comedy.
if
7
you're
nights a
over
week.
Temple Bar, as I'm sure a lot of our listeners are from time to time.
Yeah,
Check it out.
In Stitches Comedy, 7 nights a week. Give us a follow. It's getting busier, which is great. Finally,
Absolutely. No, it was great. It was great. Well, I mean, it was busy last
I
night.
was busy last night.
A lot of tourists.
Yeah,
You didn't understand
it
my
was
accent.
Such a
Online.
like a totally strap, like ram sweatbox.
Don't unsell it.
I mean, yeah. Sorry. I mean, it's like free
Sell it.
seating. Come on in, and then
It's a great club.
yeah, and then also you can just follow me on social media. It's Black Irish Comic, and yeah.
Yeah. check the both of them out. Two great guys, great comics, and thank you very much for joining us. It's been lovely to share some time with you.
Thank you.
In the Emerald Isle. And yeah, well, thanks very much for tuning in, guys, and we will speak to you very soon.